Hello everyone and welcome back to another training video. So today we're going to be talking about fall transition, going into that winter transition. So different stages, depends on where you're at here in the United States. You might be already seeing snow, or down here in Florida, we're still seeing these warm weather trends followed by drops down to 34 degrees. So the weather can be kind of wonky this time of year, but let's talk about different baits that you can throw this time of year to kind of capitalize on your bite and make sure that you're getting the most bites while you're out there on the water. Probably the bait I'll have tied on just about anywhere I go right now in the United States would be the spinner bait. So I like to use the Nichols. So I use Nichols. This is the brand I use. I like the pulsator. I like the ones that have the it has painted blades on there, a little bit extra flash in the water. The reason I'm throwing these spinner baits is for one, these bass are feeding up. They're going to be chasing the schools of minnows. And also, usually this time of year, you're starting to see the wind pick up. So we're seeing more wind, especially down here in Florida. There's a lot more wind while you're out there on the water. So whenever you see wind, you want to break out a spinner bait. So this is probably my go-to. Again, this one's pretty universal anywhere I go. Like I said, it's white. You want to make sure you match the hatch. If you got a little bit of murky water, I might throw a little bit of the chartreuse tied in there. This is the chartreuse and white. Again, these are those painted blades. These do really well. Really good vibration in the water. Again, this is the Pulsator by Nichols. This is my number one go-to. Another bait you want to be throwing this time of year is a jerk bait. Jerk bait does really good. The water is starting to cool down a little bit, especially here in Florida. We're starting to see the bait slow down. It flickers. It's just a natural reaction, and the bait will have a tendency to slow down. So you want to do the jerk pause motion, or if you're right as the water's starting to drop, you want to kind of jerk it erratically through the water. Again, try and test out different patterns to see if those fish will attack. But that's probably my second bait I'll be throwing if I'm out there on the water during that fall transition. The third bait I'll be throwing is a jig, some kind of jig, swim jig. It can be a football jig. I'll be working the bottom. I like to use the dirty jigs. This is the black and blue is really good. Again, you want to match the hatch. So match whatever the fish are feeding on. Another good color to throw here is the Okeechobee crawl, or the little bit of blue in there. This is the green pumpkin with the blue. And I use the Strike King trailer on there. Again, you don't have to be a rather large trailer this time of year, but you just want to drag it across the bottom. Throw it out there, drag it back in, and this fish will pick it up, and you'll get a good bite. Also, just another tip for this time of year. Sometimes when it gets really, really cold, especially here in Florida, they say the fish get lockjaw. The bites can be different. So you might barely feel a tap, and you'll feel your line load up. What you want to do is give them a second to actually put it in their mouth. What they'll typically do is they'll bite it, they'll put the bait in their mouth, they'll swim off with it. They don't have the hook in there yet. You go to set the hook and nothing's there. So you don't understand what's going on. What it is, the fish hasn't actually put the hook inside the mouth. So normally what I'll do, if I see that they're just picking it up and swimming off with it, I'll give them a second. They'll swim off with it, and then you'll feel them. They'll get a couple of extra bites on there. That's when I jerk back and give them America. So that's another tip whenever you're fishing, especially a jig, a worm, you're fishing at this time of year. Give them a second. Let them actually get that hook all the way back in their mouth, and then you can set the hook in there. Jerk bait, that's a little different. You got treble hooks or any kind of bait that you're going to be moving a treble hook in there. They're going to go ahead and just have that hook in their mouth. You can go ahead and set it and get that fish in the boat. Another bait I'll be throwing this time of year is going to be the underspin. So some kind of underspin. This one happens to be the dirty jig. Again, they make a really good head on there. They have several different colors on there. I think this is the blue. This one's got a little bit of blue on it. They have several different ones on the website. Go check out Dirty Jigs. And this is a 1/2 ounce. So getting down there and I'm targeting those schooling minnows, and I'm targeting getting inside that ball of bait that those fish are ambushing and attacking. And I want to keep that bait in the strike zone as much as possible. And that little bit of flash on there with that underspin can get you those extra bites. I usually pair that up with any kind of a minnow bait, a fluke. I like the Fluke Juniors by Zoom. Those are really good. Whatever your favorite or the one you have the confidence in, put that on the back of this underspin, and you'll catch fish. So hopefully that helps you out, gets you started out there. And again, there's several other applications. You can throw worms. I like the shaky heads are good this time of year. There's several other baits, but my number one go-to for covering water, I'm going to slow roll a spinner bait. I'll definitely be throwing some kind of a jig, dropping a jig, or going through any kind of vegetation. And one last tip I'll leave you with is especially when you're down here in Florida. If you're gonna be fishing that cold transition into fall, into winter, find something that warms up. A bulkhead, it could be any wooden structure. Look for poles sticking up. Think that the sun's out, so the sun's gonna be warming up that structure a lot faster. You can see like a tin siding in the water, or one of the docks has tin that's hanging over. Anything that looks different that's going to warm up, those fish will butt right up against that, put their backs right to it, and warm up. So that might be your more active fish. Also, when you're up in lily pads, the lily pads also attract heat. Sometimes the lily pad water temperature will be a little warmer than out in the open water. So on the shore, they might be hitting frog. You might be in 72, 73 degree water because the pads have heated that water up and made those fish more active. So that might be something you target too. So think of that while you're out there in the boat. You're looking down at your graphs. You're 15, 20, maybe 30 foot of water, and you're throwing up to 2.5, 3 foot of water. Just know that water's gonna be a little warmer, especially if you're throwing into pads, grass, structure up there. So don't always look down at your graph and anticipate that's what the temperature is up near the shore. So hopefully this helps you out. A couple little tips there. Again, go check out my other videos. Smash that like button, and definitely follow if you're new to the channel. And again, thanks for tuning in.